Hello guys, welcome to Biotorial. This is Mansi Joshi back again with another video on evidences of evolution. So here we will continue with our last three evidences of evolution, which are paleontological evidences based on connecting links, and the last one, which is embryological evidence. So guys, let's get started. So guys, starting with our paleontological evidences. So paleontological evidences are basically based on the fossil studies, and fossil study is known as paleontology, and hence the name is paleontological evidence. What are fossils? First of all, the remnants and impressions of organisms remain preserved underground, and these are called as fossils. So in this image we see that this is fossil. Also here in the second image we have tried to show here what are fossils and how the impression of fossil looks like. So usually the fossils are formed due to certain natural calamities. Now it can be volcano, it can be tsunami, or also earthquake, or even landslides, etc. Okay, but how can we calculate the age of fossils? So there is a method through which we can calculate the age of fossils, but before we get to it, you should know that in our environment there are two types of carbons present. Okay, the first one is C12, which has its atomic number 12. Okay, and this one is non-radioactive and it is stable also. But due to the presence of radiation in our atmosphere, we also have another type of carbon, which is C14, and its atomic number is 14. It is radioactive, and that is why it is highly unstable, and it is going to decay after some period of time. Okay, now after knowing this, we can say that in our atmosphere the carbon is present in the form of CO2. So here we have C12 carbon in the form of carbon dioxide, and here it is C14 carbon in the form of carbon dioxide. These are the two molecules of O, that is oxygen, and here also there are two molecules of oxygen. Now the carbon dioxide present inside the atmosphere is used by plants and also grass. Now this carbon dioxide is used by them to form their food. Okay, now this food which is formed is eaten up by the animals like cows, goats, sheep, etc., all herbivorous animals. Okay, now because they eat this kind of food and there is presence of this C12 and C14, the C12 is going to enter inside the body of this cow, and also along with it the C14 will also start entering their body in small amounts. Now there is this C12 and C14 present in this body, and now if we take the ratio of C12 is to C14, we will get some constant answer. Okay, the answer here we get is always constant. It is going to have certain amount which is constant. But what if this cow dies and stops eating this grass? Okay, what will happen then? Now the ratio, that is C12 is to C14, will never remain constant. Why? Because C14 is radioactive, and now the radioactive element starts decaying. So C12 will remain the same, but C14 now starts decaying. And that is why we can say the time passed since the death of a plant or animal can be calculated by measuring the radioactivity of C14. Okay, so time can be calculated by using the C14 element. Why? Because it is radioactive, highly unstable. It will be getting decayed as soon as the animal dies. And ratio of C14 to C12 present in their body. So because of this radioactivity of C14, we can know the age of fossil. Okay, so this method is known as carbon dating method, and this method is very much necessary, through which we can understand how old this fossil has been and how many years did we took to evolve from species to species. Okay, so now moving on to our other evidences which are based on the connecting link. First of all, let us learn what is connecting link. Now connecting link, to understand this, you should first consider that we have reptiles here on our left hand side, and here we have mammals. So we have these two groups here, and now we know that reptiles lay eggs with yolk and shell. This is one of the characteristics of reptiles. Okay, and mammals have body covered with fur, and they also possess mammary glands to nourish their child. Okay, now reptiles, they got evolved and mammals came into existence. Okay, the group of mammals later came into existence. But during this process of evolution, there has to be some organism, there has to be some type of living being which can show the connecting link between the characteristics of reptiles and the characteristics of mammals. So we have one such organism which is named as duck-billed platypus. This platypus, they lay eggs with yolks and shell. This platypus, they lay eggs with yolk and shell, and also they possess fur body. Okay, just like mammals, and they also have mammary glands to nourish their young ones. So here we can say, because of the presence of the characteristics of both reptiles and mammals, this platypus is connecting link between reptiles and mammals. Correct? Now let us move on to the another example of group Annelida and group Arthropoda. Now Annelida got evolved and later on the Arthropoda group came into existence. Let us first take example of earthworm. Okay, so earthworm being an Annelida, it has segmented body, which means that fine lines are visible here on its body. Those are the fine segments present, and hence we can say the body is segmented. And also the body is covered with the cuticle. Cuticle means it is the thin skin which is present on the top of body. So we can see that, we can observe that, and apart from this, we also have parapodia on their body. Now what are parapodia? Parapodias are the legs here, these fine legs that you can see in this image which are present. These are known as parapodia, and they help earthworms to make motion. Okay, now in arthropoda, we take example of cockroach. Now cockroach has open circulatory system. Now what does this open circulatory system means? That in our body we have nerves, and blood flows through our nerves. Okay, but in cockroach they do not have such nerves. Okay, so the blood that flows through their body is not having any nerves, and the circulation is open, and hence it is known as open circulatory system. And they respire using tracheal respiration system. Okay, now what is tracheal respiration? Here we see that this is the body of cockroach, and these tubes, yellow color tubes, are present over here. The air enters inside these tubes and diffusion takes place, and this is how the respiration will take place, and this is known as tracheal respiration. Now since the evolution took from Annelida to Arthropoda, they should also have some connecting link between them. Then who is the connecting link between these two groups? We have Peripatus as an organism which is having both the qualities. It has segmented body, it has body covered with cuticles, it also shows parapodias for locomotion just like Annelida, and plus the circulation is open circulation just like Arthropoda, and they respire using trachea. Okay, so it is the connecting link between Annelida and Arthropoda. We can also give another example which is of fish and amphibia. And here we see that this is a fish. This pink color region is gill, and the air which is been used for respiration enters from here and diffusion takes place here. So this is how the fish is going to respire. But in amphibians, for example frog, they do not have gills. They possess lungs for the respiration, and that is why we can say that fish got evolved and amphibians, they came into existence. Okay, but there has to be a connecting link between both, and that connecting link is the lungfish. So this lungfish, though it is a fish, we see no gill slits present over here, hence the lungs are present which are helping this fish for respiration, which is a quality of amphibia. Although the characteristic, the way it looks is just like fish, but it respires using lungs, which are the characteristic of amphibians. So now moving on towards the next evidence which are based on the embryology. Now here in this slide we see that there are so many embryos present of different species. This is a single species of fish, and here comes another. Likewise we have many here. So this first line is the early stage of embryo, second is the medieval stage of embryo, and the last one is the last stage. Okay, so this is how the growth process takes place. of each and every organism. In the early stage, we see that all the embryos of each and every species look similar. And as they grow and they enter the medieval stage, they start showing certain differences in their structure. And in their last stage, they can totally be differentiated into their specific species. Okay, but based on the early stage of their embryo, we can say that they all look similar, and hence we might have our common ancestor. Hence, we all got evolved from a single common ancestor. So, this becomes another evidence of evolution. So guys, I hope that you all understood this video. Keep sharing our video, give like to this video, and also subscribe to our channel for more such videos, and wait for our next video which will be on evolutionary theories. So guys, until then, this is Mansi Joshi signing off.